Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Monday, May 18, 2026. Oh, we love that Kevin James Open, and we're using that, baby. And my Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it's 9:10 a.m. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America. I could prove it because our president was respected by the Chi-Coms. It's also the place for the brave, like the veterans we will salute today, having lost them this year, but celebrating them today thanks to John Basiliga and his great Eastern Roofing Systems. And then there's a special veteran we're going to salute in our 9:30 hour. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our amazing, irreplaceable, and profoundly wise founding fathers who knew that government should not be, could not be, and never would be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things. Because government power always means less freedom, less liberty, and less choice for Americans. Our founding fathers knew that government power, because of human nature, should only be a necessary evil designed to protect and organize society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared by law to be an unalienable right. That means they can't take it away. Granted to each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups. It couldn't be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, no matter how they use it, because we're free to ignore them. Now, because they were armed with these freedoms, and only because of that fact, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, many of them rejects from around the world, they and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse, and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show will always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And yes, the double entendre is intended. And so, we gavel to order today's meeting, the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our total, immersive, immovable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here for the balance of this singular, extraordinary morning. A gentle warning, this is not a safe harbor for stupidity. Such silliness will be roundly and, dare I say, harshly attacked throughout the program. We will not suffer fools gladly, because their foolishness and ignorance, willful or otherwise, it needs to be called out with intent, purpose, and vigor, because it's sadly necessary to save our great republic from evil, senselessness, and weakness, which even now can bring down this noble and incredibly successful experiment called America. Well, we're joined today by a candidate for governor, Republican candidate for governor, Stacey Garrity, and her lieutenant governor candidate, Jason Ritchie. They are in studio. I seldom allow this because I got to do my push-ups and all my nonsense. I have to argue with the bulldog, but that's how special you guys are on this particular election day. First of all, Stacey Garrity, welcome.
Bob, it is so great to spend the day before the primary with a great patriot like yourself.
Coming from you, that's beyond flattering, I promise you. And Jason, good to meet you. I followed you and knew about when you were running for governor, everything. And in fact, a friend of mine, this Mark Mayer, who does a lot of stuff for the show, when he heard you and looked you up, he said, "Stud."
Well, I like that characterization. And now you got me all fired up this morning with that opening. I'm ready to
go. You've been campaigning. Now, Jason Ritchie, your lieutenant governor campaign is contested.
That's correct. I'm going to be second on the ballot tomorrow, so people know. But I need you to get out there. I need everyone listening, get out there and vote for Jason Ritchie tomorrow. It is absolutely critical so that Stacey and I can get together as a team and start taking on Shapiro.
So, Stacey, you and I had a couple clips I forgot to play, but Stacey, you chose Jason Ritchie. You said, this is the balance. This is the yin to my yang, all of that, to form an incredible administration.
I sure did. I love about Jason Ritchie is he has blue collar roots. So he put himself through college on a wrestling scholarship, put himself through law school, working at a steel mill. But even more important than that, he's a wonderful husband and father. He has skin in the game. 3 sons, all in college, all wrestle. Surprise, surprise. And so Jason has skin in the game.
That actually is a surprise.
Yeah.
All 3 of them.
He wants his
the toughest sport there is.
It is the toughest sport.
Yeah.
I agree, hands down. But he wants his kids to stay in Pennsylvania, raise their families in Pennsylvania, and start businesses, work in Pennsylvania. So, and he will be a great, fantastic governing partner.
You've been going all around the state now, Stacey, and you were doing it prior to that as our great treasurer. You did amazing things. You got yourself involved in all kinds of veterans things, including in our VA here in Wilkes-Barre.
Sure did.
So you've been around the state a great deal. You know what the needs are, what the desires are of the Pennsylvania's population. Have you detected anything different in this now that you're campaigning versus being in office?
I have. So I think Pennsylvanians are realizing that we are at a crossroads in our state, and we have to decide in this moment what kind of state do we want to be? Are we going to be a state that works for politicians or one that works for families? Are we going to be a state that when families open up their utility bills at the end of the month, they're dreading it because they know they're going up, up, up?
Yep.
Or are we going to be a state that unleashes the liquid gold under our feet and uses Pennsylvania energy to power Pennsylvania's future? And people are realizing that, under Josh Shapiro's failed policies, we've become mediocre, and it does not have to be this way.
We're actually less. When you look at rankings for anything, we're less than mediocre.
We are. That's being kind. You're right. We rank 38th economically. 39th in education, although top 10 in spending, by the way, 41st overall. And the kicker, and I have to end with this one because I am the state treasurer, we're spending $5 billion more a year than what we bring in, and Pennsylvanians can't afford it.
At some point, you got to pay the piper, Jason Ritchie. Am I right?
You are right. And Josh Shapiro wants you to pay the piper. He's going to use in his budget all of our reserves, and he's going to want to raise your taxes after we get through our reserves. I could not agree more with Stacey that the upcoming election in November is going to be the Pennsylvania Super Bowl. And people need to your audience needs to get fired up because the Democrats only need to take 2 Senate seats to take full control of our government. Meanwhile, we need 1 House seat and 1 governor's seat, and we can take control. So the direction of the state is in balance. And when you look at what Shapiro has online for us, House Democrats passed abortion on demand up till the day of birth. Shapiro, when we passed a law to keep men out of girls' sports, he called our senators extremists. And he's filed a lawsuit so that kids under the age of 18 can have health care for transition of their genders, both mutilation and hormonal. It's sickening. And then on top of that, these budgets that are $7 billion over how much we bring in, and then the answer is we're going to legalize drugs, which is going to be catastrophic because we know from Colorado, for instance,
Oregon
that
even.
yeah, I mean the
State.
black market quadruples the amount of supply into a state when marijuana gets legalized. Employers don't want to come to the state because they don't want a workforce on drugs. DUI or impaired driving up. Mental health up, ER visits up. I mean, who wants that? But that's what I just described is Josh Shapiro's vision, and the Dems are this close to realize it, and that's why Stacey and I have stepped up. Yep. We are going to fight back, and we're going to take full control. And I think if we do and put conservative economic principles into play, we have a chance to help millions and millions of Pennsylvanians.
Jason Ritchie, our lieutenant governor candidate, who needs your vote. He's second on the ballot for lieutenant governor. It's run in the fall. it's one race. In the spring, it is a separate race from governor, so you've got to vote for both. Stacey.
Exactly, you do. And Jason's right. We have a governor that's more interested in Pennsylvania Avenue than helping Pennsylvania families.
He wants to be president or vice president so badly, it has taken his normal level of phoniness to just heights that I'd never imagined.
I agree. He wants to be all things to all people, doesn't take a solid position on anything. And if you just listen to him sounding exactly like Barack Obama,
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell there's no authentic bone in his body.
Stacey Garrity, our candidate for governor, and Jason Ritchie, our candidate for lieutenant governor, are in the house. We're going to take a break. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. We'll be right back. May 18th, 1959, Murph tells us the artist, he changed his name at the suggestion of Dick Clark's wife, Bobby, who said he looked like a teenage Fats Domino. Scored 35 hits over 3 decades. But on this date, Chubby Checker debuted on the charts with his first single, The Class. He does imitations of Fat Domino, Elvis Presley, Cozy Cole, and the Chipmunks, and all of that. And, of course, you heard the clips about our esteemed governor. Hey, just want to remind you, we are on live stream, and that is brought to you by our friends at Roach Supply. They are the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. 70 veteran-owned, nonagenarian, and I nailed down that word last week. Nonagenarian Ron Roach, veteran, is still at the helm. 75 years in business. You know what that means? That means they're great at what they do. They're fair. They're honest. It means that's who you got to see. It's roachsupply.com, R-O-C-H-E. Stacey Garrity in the House, Republican candidate for governor, but she needs at least one vote, right, for the primary, right?
I sure do.
And Jason Ritchie, he's running, and it's important to stress this is a separate campaign. He's the endorsed candidate. He's Stacey's candidate. He's my candidate for lieutenant governor, but he needs your separate vote, and he's second on that line. Just remember that. A modicum of effort. I mean, we had our forefathers had to storm Normandy Beach. We just have to go vote. Okay, it's not that hard. Stacey, we were talking in the break, and I've noted this repeatedly with Shapiro. There's a lot of negative stories out there, a lot of negative truth, and they won't report it.
No, Josh Shapiro is the least transparent governor in modern day history.
Except for TikTok.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, he's transparent because we can see through him.
Right. But there is scandal after scandal. There's massive amounts of corruption. And we had an event in Harrisburg highlighting the sexual harassment of his senior advisor. And not only did they cover it up and pretended that they didn't know, his office had to spend some of their own money when they had to pay the young lady $295,000. By the way, your taxpayer dollars, and make her sign a non-disclosure agreement. Sent the senior advisor out the door with accolades saying how fantastic he was. And then 6 months later, at least 6 months later, we find out, he was fired for sexual harassment. So, of course, they were trying to hide that. Yeah. And, the cover-up's always worse than the crime. And then to add insult to injury, he took, over $2 million from Reid Hoffman, who was Jeffrey Epstein's travel buddy. Traveled with him after he was a convicted sex offender. Refused to give the money back. And yet went on a podcast in California, surprise, surprise, stating that, the folks with a lot of money that were involved with Epstein should be prosecuted.
Unlike the what was it? A 20-bullet suicide? That other story that shouldn't be prosecuted. Tell us about that.
The Ellen Greenberg?
Yes.
Oh, right. So if Josh Shapiro says he has your back, be careful, because they ruled a young lady who was stabbed in the back over 6 times. They ruled it, when he was Attorney General, ruled it a suicide. These poor parents. And again, he was personal friends with the young man's uncle, the fiance. And so there is a big story there, and we're going to bring that out as well.
Jason Ritchie, you've been immersed in this for years now because of your race for governor in the primary years ago. You've seen all this. I mean, what is your reaction to it? Actually, it's outrage, and you're doing it.
Yeah,
that's why you're doing this.
Absolutely. Like, I'm an outsider. I've never been in politics. I'm coming in and want to clean things up. And this stuff with Shapiro, I don't understand. I know he spends $5 million a year of your taxpayer dollars on public relations. It's constant. It's continuous. You mentioned the fake TikTok stuff that he does. But this guy, he's accomplished nothing. He's one of the most failed governors we have ever had. I listened to him on TikTok. Unfortunately, I have to listen to his stuff. And he said, what's your best accomplishment? And he said, fixing the bridge in Philadelphia, which, happened early on. He's done nothing. He has no substantive legislative accomplishment whatsoever. Absolutely none. We are ranked by U.S. News and World Report 2025 41st out of 45th in overall performance. Total failure. Right now, 7 out of 10 kids, 8th graders in Pennsylvania, are not proficient in reading or math. Right, and we are one of the top 5 states of people fleeing it.
And he ran, by the way, speaking on the education front, he ran as that he was for school choice, and then didn't even allow school choice from public school to public school.
That's the thing. He lies. Yeah. He's a complete liar in terms of, as you said, when he ran for governor, he said, I'll do school choice. They put it in the budget. He line item vetoed it out. He said he would get rid of Reggie, which is carbon taxes on any pollution. He wouldn't do it. He kept it in for 3 years. And the result of that is they were shutting down coal-fired power plants and shutting down 3 Mile Island. New natural gas producers didn't want to come in because they don't want to pay the carbon taxes. They'll go to some other state. So he's the reason why everybody's energy bills are up. So this guy has been incompetent in our energy sector. He's accomplished nothing as governor, and we need change. And I know people feel it because you can go around a lot of Pennsylvania. You can literally see the towns dying. And it's because we've had 12 years of incompetency with Wolf and Shapiro not unleashing our energy.
He was Wolf's hitman during COVID. That's the other thing you cannot forget.
Yeah,
exactly.
he barred us from our liberties. He's the one that's supposed to protect us and our freedoms, and he did not do it as Attorney General. He just went along with whatever Wolf wanted to do. And these two guys have just run this state into the ground. And Stacey and I are stepping up for change. And this election coming up is, if you listen to Shapiro, all he talks about is Trump, 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 Trump. He doesn't do any kind of pose. This election's about him.
Yeah.
And it's about his failures and his incompetence. He doesn't even want this job, Bob. When asked if he will finish a 4-year term if reelected, he won't agree to it. Because, again, as you mentioned, he wants to be president. He's had that goal since 4 years old. Who would hire someone that doesn't even want the job?
Yeah.
So I believe, when we get to November, I get over this hump. We get elected tomorrow. I need everyone's help in this primary. Stacey and I are going to take it to him, and we have the right candidate here.
Oh, yes.
People forget who is the #1 vote getter in Pennsylvania history. It's not Donald Trump. It's not Josh Shapiro. It's Stacey Garrity.
Yeah.
She gets the vote out. She works like no one else. And I think our odds are good. When Corbett was the last Republican governor that was elected 16 years ago, the difference between Democrats and Republicans was 1 million registration advantage. Today it's 50,000. We've got the voters. We just, as you mentioned earlier, we just need to get out and vote. We're not storming Normandy. Get out and vote.
All right, we're going to take a break. Jason Ritchie, our candidate for lieutenant governor, who needs your vote. Stacey Garrity, our candidate for governor, primary tomorrow. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got a special veterans tribute. That's a story from Iwo Jima. And our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day as with every day, brought to you by our man John Basiliga and his Great Eastern Roofing Systems, who we feature every Monday. One of the premier roofing contractors on the Eastern Seaboard for commercial, institutional. And guess what? Because they're headquartered in Jessup, they will bring all that buying power, all that expertise to your project, large or small, including your home here in Northeast Pennsylvania. That's the Great Eastern Roofing Systems. Well, we didn't have to go far for this Veterans Tribute. Stacey Garrity, our candidate for governor, served our nation in uniform for 30 years as a member of the U.S. Army Reserve, where she rose to the rank of colonel. During her time in the Army Reserve, Stacey was deployed 3 times in the Middle East as part of Operation Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and Operation Enduring Freedom. While prisoner abuse scandals raged elsewhere, it was Stacey Garrity who emerged as a national leader in managing internment facilities for enemy combatants. Stacey kept her command at Camp Bucca secure and American troops safe without a single complaint of abuse from Iraqi soldiers interned on her watch. For her service, Stacey was twice awarded the Bronze Star. That means a lot. She's also received the Legion of Merit, being hailed as the Angel of the Desert by NPR for her service. Our treasurer, our great Commonwealth treasurer, our candidate for governor, Stacey Garrity. Stacey, you got to go to the parade on Saturday, the Armed Services Parade here. I saw you marching. I saw pictures of you. That must have been a great thing, huh?
It was. I was the Grand Marshal. That was such an honor.
And the weather was good and not too hot. It was ideal. What an important. It's so important to do that every year, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It is. Anytime that I can honor service members, veterans, Memorial Day is coming up this next Monday.
Yeah.
It's
the military that stands out to you. Or a series of...
Oh, my goodness. Well, so we ended up getting 225 death row inmates, and I had 7,000 detainees, so I had the largest internment facility in theater. So they didn't have anywhere to house these Iraqis that were sentenced to death by the Iraqi criminal court. So they ended up coming over, and it was interesting because my interpreter said these are really bad jihadists. They said they will never, ever speak to you because you're a female.
Yeah.
And I said, that's fantastic. You tell them they never have to speak to me. But I will tell you this, within a day, they're going to ask to see me because they're going to figure out who's in charge. And it was maybe an hour, Bob. And then probably...
And you didn't put your hijab on either.
Oh, no, none of that.
Come see me in my uniform.
Exactly. So there are just so many stories when I think back.
But 30 years you served us. It's remarkable.
Honestly, I would have never even thought about running for treasurer had I not hit my mandatory retirement date, because serving truly was and is the honor of my lifetime. I would have continued on.
Our veteran tribute this hour, Stacey Garrity, our candidate for governor. What a coincidence. AccuWeather forecast. This brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain. Today, mostly sunny and hot, possible danger of dehydration and heat stroke, so just be careful while doing strenuous activities, high 95. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm and humid, down to 65. Tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds, hot and humid. Again, danger of dehydration and heat stroke while doing strenuous activities, high 94, low 69. Wednesday, not as warm with times of cloud and sun, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Thunderstorms can bring localized damaging wind gusts. 82 on Wednesday, the low of 43 because it gets a lot cooler. Thursday, cooler and less humid with intervals of clouds and sunshine. 66 for the high, 41 for the low. Friday, intervals of clouds and sunshine. High 64, low 51. And that's 78 degrees already at Montage Mountain, and they're proud to bring us your weather. Murph tells us Johnny Horton, this date, 1959, moved from number 23 to number 7 with his hit, The Battle of New Orleans, and fits perfect with veteran Stacey Garrity, our candidate for governor. You know what? Hot weather. We like to exercise in hot weather, don't we, Jason Ritchie?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially
I'm going to be out there doing something strenuous. I can't. I have a bull mastiff, and he does not like the heat, so he won't be going anywhere. But I will.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
you'll be campaigning, won't you?
We are campaigning from here. We're going to be in Wilkes-Barre today, and then we're going to go to Harrisburg, Johnstown, and Pittsburgh. So we have 4 stops. Yesterday, we were in Allentown and Philadelphia. So Stacey and I are going all out. Because tomorrow is the day, and it's the day I hope everybody will go out and vote for Jason Ritchie. It's very important.
We need you.
to us.
Man, we need you for this team. Stacey Garrity, thank you for coming in. We're proud to have
Always
you
great
here.
to
Proud
be
to
with
honor
you.
you as the veteran, the great veteran that you are. We're very proud to honor you today.
It was truly my honor.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you for being here. You guys have to go, but just a pleasure to have you in studio. And I usually don't like it. I liked it today.
Good.
Have a great
Get out
afternoon.
and vote, everybody.
Get out and vote. Jason Ritchie needs that vote too. So we'll take our break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. I don't know where Murph finds this stuff. This date, 1963, a guy named Jimmy Soul had the #1 hit with "If You Want to Be Happy," a song about listen to this, a song about the benefits of marrying an ugly woman. After his next song didn't chart, Soul, whose real name is James Lewis McLeese. How about this? He entered the U.S. Army. We lost him to a heart attack in 1988 at the age of 45. And as I always say, one-hit wonder, maybe. But it's one more hit than I had. We're back. Fred Duckman noted there was a loud hum in the audio. When I turn this second light on, because we put Stacey Garrity on the live stream, it happens, and we haven't figured it out yet. But importantly, I'm telling you what, you got to. It was good. I don't like to have people in the studio because I'm always doing different things. Okay, not just the push-ups. That's part of a joke, but I'm happy I had them in because, as Mark Mayer says about our guy Jason Ritchie, our lieutenant governor candidate, stud. He says, and he's a big man, and they make such. You could even tell by body language that they get along, that they like each other, that they're going to support each other. And, man, we have a great team for governor, but we've got to get Jason Ritchie across the line. You guys, you got make that effort. Put in that half hour or whatever it takes time-wise for you to go and vote. And make sure you vote for, well, people like Lisa Baker. But Jason Ritchie for lieutenant governor. It's a big deal. Somebody points out, texting in, Shapiro keeps pushing his transgender ideology on our children, which nobody wants. Why would anyone vote for this immoral man? Josh Shapiro is pro-gender chemical and mutilation of innocent children. He is. Why don't both of you emphasize this more on the campaign trail? Because Shapiro refuses to abandon this insane educational transgender ideology on our kids. He does. It's a disgrace. Now, there's other reasons to go out and vote, okay? There are some great people who are running for state committee, and one of them is my friend Robin Medeiros. And she's running with Mark Payne. There's the two people. Not only they're the two people who asked me, but I love both of them. And they're running for state committee. How are you, Robin? Thank you for calling in.
I'm good. Thank you. We love you, too. And I just love those two people who just left your studio, too.
They are great. And they're great together. It's a yin-yang. It's actually a perfect team.
Yes. She couldn't have chosen better.
I know.
I'm waiting for down in Luzerne County. Anyone who wants to come down, 1950 Wyoming Avenue, head out right now. They're on their way here. We're going to have a little rally down here. And, so we're excited. And they're the best. And you're right, Jason Ritchie's second on the ballot. We have got to make sure he wins.
Yes.
Republicans have to get out to vote.
So now,
and then I'm advocating.
Yeah, where will we find your name and Mark Payne's name on the state committee race?
Lackawanna County.
Okay.
There are 7 people running. Mark and I teamed up only because, I've done everything from the Trump rallies to staff the polls, put together for teams for everything over the years. Then everyone's county coordinator from Stacey Garrity to Lou Barletta. Mm-hmm. I would not have even run for state committee because I have enough to do. But people like Stacey asked me to run. And so it's important that we have good people there and knowledgeable people who want to work with our candidates. And that's Mark and I. You can choose 5. There's 7 on the ballot. But I am really just pushing for Mark and I at this point because I know he'll do a good job if he gets in there also.
And plus, if you're picking others and supporting others, then there's others that are left out. It's something you just don't need to do. I'm up for me. That's important.
Yeah. And then I'm running for Newton committee person, woman again, and then I put my husband, God bless him. I have sent him down to Harrisburg with a U-Haul from Scranton to pick up the statewide judges' signs, and I'm always sending him to do things behind the scenes. So I put his name on there because nobody was running. Now we have opposition. Now we have a couple that are running, but I've never seen them out there. He's not sure what the job even entails. And so, it's up to Newton people whether or not they want to keep me in there and then elect my husband to that position. And it's just doing things in your community and within the committee of Lackawanna County. But our first goal is to help these candidates. It's not about you. It's about them. And we have to really stress that.
Robin Medeiros, she is a candidate that I support for state committee along with Mark Payne. And by the way, it's extra helpful that you're the only two that asked me.
Well, I different endeavors out there too, and we listen to you, and a lot of people listen to you, and they value your opinion, so it counts.
Well,
we need good people out here, advocating for our candidates. So,
I'm
and
happy you checked in.
Yeah, I've been her state coordinator, her Lackawanna County coordinator through her 2 terms as treasurer, and now for governor, and wait till you see what we've got coming.
Robin Medeiros, our candidate for state committee, along with Mark Payne. Thank you very much, Robin. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You have a great day.
I will. I guarantee it. Well, I can almost guarantee it. Things could go sideways. You just don't know. Hey, just a reminder, Tina Morocco, she is a global sales advisor for Sotheby's International Realty in Naples, Florida. Well, she is your expert and your trusted guide for Florida real estate, and she specializes in Southwest Florida. You can reach her at Sotheby's International in Naples or Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com, or on any social media with Tina Morocco. She's on it all. Chuck from Cardinals and Bob on TV show Pennsylvania for the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, Judge Wecht is switching from Democrat to independent. Yeah, I saw that. He may have just had enough with the insanity. I heard a story about that, and I'm not sure about that. So we'll see. In any event, we've got to go for the news because my Bacardo Jewelers watch tells me it's time. It is 10 o'clock on the nose. Let's hear the news from Brian Hughes. We'll come back. It's a Monday, so we got Monday musings. We'll be back. baby. You know it, baby. Great good morning, everyone. I got to find my little script here. It is 10:07 and change on my Bacardo Jewelers watch. This beautiful Monday, May 18, day before Election Day, here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Eastern roofing systems, the brave who have made us and kept us free. One who is still very much with us. Our candidate for governor, Stacey Garrity, 30 years, multiple tours in the Middle East. And then veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today thanks to John, like John Rasholi, Carbondale, Bob Kabasti, Sawyersville, Victor Lugoski, 40 Fort, and Reverend Andrew Sinnott. He was the pastor of Nativity of Our Lord Parish in Duryea. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order after that brief news adjournment, this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here. So Monday Musings is coming up, but first, I want to give away these Journey tickets. Now, Journey's coming in here. I saw them in I think it was 81 or 82 at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. Well, Friday, November 6th, they're coming to Mohegan Arena at Queso Plaza. And we've got a pair of tickets to give away, courtesy of AEG Presents. The tickets are on sale right now, and I will accept. Let's go with the 8th caller. I always like making my 8th since Scapy Mecca showed me how. So let's go with the 8th caller for the Journey tickets, and Bulldog will do it. In the meantime, we're going to start with our Monday Musings. Yeah, you know that music. That means it's time for Monday Musings with our guy, John Perillo, as everyone furiously dials to win their Journey tickets. Have you ever seen Journey, John Perillo?
I haven't, but my little garage band wants to play it a little bit, so I was wondering, did I dial in on time? Do I get a shot at this too?
No,
or what?
you're out. You're out. You are out. Just like Michael Corleone said to his lawyer, "You're out." He said, "You're out, Tom Hagen. You're
okay,
out."
well, that takes all the fun out of this. Well, anyway, I'm here without any coaching on how to be authentic from your last piece, but
this Buttigieg clown. I mean, you're talking. I try not to drag you into politics, but these Democrat candidates and leaders are clowns. It's frightening.
Okay.
Here's how to be you.
Well,
here's how to be you.
Yeah.
I'll bet they did that at the Naval Academy for you. Here's how to be you.
Oh yeah,
John Perillo.
Yeah, we had lots of classes on that. So actually, it was how not to be you because you can't. Anyway, I'm sorry. Right. There's been a bunch of contradictory information going on in the war in Iran, and I'm aware that as listeners that can be frustrating, to know who's right. And I will tell you that I watch this stuff pretty carefully because I chewed sand in that region myself, and because I have a son who's an Army infantry officer, so I really want to know what's going on. And if you followed the news last week, Admiral Cooper, who's the CENTCOM commander, testified in front of Congress, and I have no doubt that his testimony is accurate, right? We've done real damage to the Iranian military capability, destroyed a bunch of stuff, devastated their Navy, their ballistic missile program, reduced their ability to launch drones. and severe damage to their command and control infrastructure. And most importantly, because I'm a logistician, we've destroyed their ability to resupply their proxies and their forces, which is, and that's causing desertions and executions in the regions. When you start to see that, that means that the local commanders are losing control. And that's all good and important, especially diminishing the nuclear program. But it's not the whole story, right? So the Strait is a more global issue and a more immediate problem. And as of now, they're still able to disrupt traffic going through the Strait. And just as an example, the Admiral said that we destroyed approximately 90% of their mines. Well, they had about 8,000 mines. So 10% of 8,000 mines can still sink a bunch of ships. So there was an article by a guy named Bob Kagan, who's a military historian and whose books I've read. And in the past, I found him to be right. And he's one of the guys that when he talks, I listen. And he's also what I would call pro-interventionalist, meaning he has generally come down on the side of using military power, what we used to call neoconservative. And for a long time, he has been saying that we needed to confront Iran. So when he wrote an article saying that the U.S. has, quote, suffered a total defeat in Iran, I wanted to explore why he thinks so. And the first thing I'll point out is something that I said weeks ago, that this war sure isn't over yet, but there are concerning signs coming from the region. And this historian, Kagan, compares the action to Pearl Harbor as well as Vietnam and Afghanistan. And Pearl was a horrible black eye to the United States, but we eventually defeated the Japanese. And in the cases of Vietnam and Afghanistan, those defeats happened in regions that really didn't matter globally. Now, please don't misunderstand me. To the people we left behind in Vietnam or Afghanistan, it mattered. And to the families of our service people, it damn well mattered. But Kagan's point is that to the rest of the world, those two wars were inconsequential. And while we certainly started off poorly in Iraq, we eventually left there a country that's pretty stable, not anti-American, and not a threat to their neighbors. So to use the language of Clint Eastwood in the movie Heartbreak Ridge, we had one win, which was World War II, two losses, Vietnam and Afghanistan, and what I would call an ugly win in Iraq. Nevertheless, the difference in Iran is that this conflict affects the world. So nobody can ignore a loss there. If we don't win, whatever that means, we can't just pack up our stuff and walk away like we did in Afghanistan. And that's because if the Strait of Hormuz is not open freely, if it remains under Iranian control, Iran becomes even more powerful than it was before the war, no matter how many bombs we drop on them or even if their entire navy is sunk. That's because the entire world is seeing what happens to their economies when ships can't pass through the Strait of Hormuz. And in addition, and to me more importantly, if the Strait remains under Iranian control, the role of the United States is greatly diminished. And failure to open the Strait would represent the first failure of the U.S. Navy to ensure freedom of the seas in the history of the country. So just think about that for a second, right? I mean, one of the things we hear about is who holds or doesn't hold the cards. Well, let's talk about that, right? We and the Israelis, by the way, have hit Iran from the air and the sea with some of the most effective munitions that have ever been developed. And we did it for 37 days. I was in the Navy for 20 years, and there has never been a nation with weapons as effective as what we have in the U.S. But even with all that firepower, we haven't seen the collapse of the Iranian regime. And worse, we haven't seen a single concession from the Iranians, not one. So between us and the Israelis, we've killed off almost all of their leadership, destroyed almost all of their military capability, and we still haven't seen a change in the regime. Our blockade is bankrupting them, and still nothing. And that's because whatever is left of the IRGC doesn't care about bankruptcy or protests from their citizens. And if you remember the uprising in January, I warned you then that the Iranian leadership has no qualms with just killing off some tens of thousands of people to put down the mobs, which, by the way, is precisely what they did. So you can bankrupt them all you want. They don't care. You can starve their economy, and they still don't care. They're apocalyptic in belief, meaning they believe that their role is to bring about the end of the world. So bankruptcy is inconvenient to that mission, but it doesn't change the mission one bit. So what you hear now is that we should resume our attacks. And even I've said that. But what Kagan asks is what will a resumption of bombing accomplish that the last 37 days of bombing did not accomplish? And at some point, I'll get around to discussing our issues with logistics and producing more munitions. But Kagan's point is that even if you had unlimited high-tech weapons, nothing changes. Now, after 37 days of bombing, we did stop our attacks, but not because we were getting results or because Pakistan asked us to, but because Iran was counterstriking other regional oil facilities. And for your listeners out there, it's important to note that the timing of that wasn't coincidental. On March 18th, Israel bombs the Iran South Pars gas field. Iran responds by attacking Qatar's Ras Laffan facility, which supplies the world with natural gas. And the U.S. tells Israel to stop their attacks, and we declare a ceasefire without Iran conceding one single thing. And that's because the rest of the world needs what comes out of the Gulf. We stopped because we cannot afford the collateral damage. And since then, nothing has changed. Again, let's ask the question, who holds the cards, right? If we did go on and destroy what's left of the Iranian civilization through more bombing, Iran could, in its death throes, if you will, destroy the region's oil and gas infrastructure, and that would take at least years to repair, if not decades. And if that happened, there would be a global catastrophic economic crisis. Iran bankrupt? Yep. But for the rest of the world, in horrible economic shape as well. The Iranians know that, and so does everybody else. And so this historian Kagan asked, who really is holding the cards? You know, the issue is that the Iranians don't care if oil goes up to $150 or $200 a barrel. In fact, $200 a barrel oil actually helps Iran and Russia. But you know who does worry about $200 a barrel oil? We do. We don't know if the Iranian regime will collapse under the blockade. It might fail, but it might not fail. What we do know is that if oil goes to $200 a barrel, the U.S. presidency will fail. Trump will lose the midterms and become the lamest of lame ducks. And I'm not telling you what I want to happen. I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen. So if you're on the side of finish the job, which is certainly where I freely admit I've been, this historian Kagan asks that we spend a few minutes thinking about what that looks like. You're describing a full-scale naval and ground assault, not unlike what we did in Iraq to oust that current regime. And alternatively, we can continue to use the U.S. Navy to escort ships through the strait, but so far our Navy is too small to do that for any sustained period. So we could keep bombing, but so far bombing has not accomplished the goal, and our mission supplies are actually not unlimited. So if you're the president and you don't want to do a ground invasion, Kagan argues that we might be better off just accepting defeat, calling it victory, but it's really a defeat. And that would mean leaving the Iranians in control of the strait. And even the so-called moderates in Iran know that they have to retain control of the strait. So U.S. or international control is off the table unless we take it by force. And the Iranians aren't going to agree to a deal where the U.S. gets control of their most important negotiating chip. If they retain control, they can limit who passes to those that support them. In addition, all of the U.S. allies depend on that region for energy, which is pretty much everyone. And they will all have to rethink their relations between the U.S. and Iran. If we can't keep their energy flowing, then they have to.
Well, let's ask a foundational question.
Get their energy.
Foundational question. Why can't we keep the Strait of Hormuz open? I mean, this is something. I mean, we've contemplated this for 50 years. This is not brand new.
Right.
I mean, to the extent I have any frustration with this action, that is it. Why can't we? Because I understand you bombed them to smithereens, and then what's left for anybody to even take over if they overthrow the current regime and all of that? I get it. Right. I understand his hesitancy. I think you break it, you bought it. But the Strait of Hormuz is what perplexes me, that we don't have or can't apply the resources to keep that open indefinitely.
Right. So I think this is, Bob brings up, as usual, the point I really do want to get to, which is my one disagreement with Keegan, right? And remember, he's far more of an expert than I am. But in my opinion, there are invasions and there are invasions, right? We don't have to occupy Iran like we did Iraq.
Yeah.
My Marine friends are the best at what they do. The Army is in good hands from what I'm seeing. But what we would need to do is to secure the region around the strait enough to have a safety zone to intercept drones and missiles. Mm-hmm. But that means boots on the ground again, right? So that's the issue, right? You can't just bomb yourself into an area of safety. You would literally need to put boots on the ground. And if the strait's that important, we're going to have to do that. And that's, I think, the discrepancy that Kagan's noting. If you set yourself up with the limitation of I will not put boots in the sand, and I understand why the president is saying that, you can't control the strait because you need to create the safety zone around it. Because on the one hand, you have the UAE, which is, by the way, already getting attacked by the Iranians, right? Because they are trying to keep the strait open. So if you remember, the strait looks like a little point with a U-shaped bend in it. On one side is the UAE, on the other side is Iran. We would need to control at least some territory on the Iranian side. The Europeans have basically said they won't do that. And in defense of the Europeans, which is an odd thing to say, but let me defend them for a second, they need to know how this turns out before they can make a commitment. Because if they decide to go against Iran and we don't control the straits, they're in deep trouble. Now, how they got there
again,
is a whole other problem.
why not continue the embargo on and the quarantine on Iran and open the straits? It's many of the same assets that are already there.
Well, we've had to rotate some U.S. Navy ships back. So you saw the Ford came back and a couple of destroyers came back. I mean, they've been on station for 300 days. Those ships just can't, the crews can't survive that. So, yes, I am with you on that. I think that there would have to be, in order to do what you're describing, though, you're going to have to put some boots on the ground around the strait.
Without doubt.
Right? As far as the embargo, and sadly so, right? And I agree with you also that we should continue the economic sanctions. But, always remember that Iran was once a functioning, relatively modern country, even if it was pretty corrupt before the Iranian Revolution. But since the revolution, they publicly chop off the heads of homosexuals, beat women who wear their hair incorrectly, or hang or stone women who manage to get themselves raped. You can't bomb them back to the Stone Age because that's where they aspire to be.
Yeah, I think
that's
the bombing stage.
Want.
Yeah, the bombing stage is over. But the embargo stage and doing whatever is necessary to keep the strait open, because that affects American gas prices, American energy prices, American inflation. Just do it. Let's get it done. There's no negotiating
I think that's a
with
reasonable
these people.
goal.
There's no negotiating with these people anyway. It ain't happening.
Right. And Bob, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely correct. But for your listeners, what that means is you're going to have some boots in the sand.
Yep.
Right. Doesn't mean a full-scale invasion. Doesn't mean we take them over like we did to Iraq. But it does mean you have to have some boots in the sand, at least around the strait. So just an interesting point of view from Kagan, who's a great historian. And I thought that would be helpful to just try to understand where we're at and what's going on over there.
Much appreciated, as always, our man. Thank you. John Perillo, Monday Musings. On a Monday, we're going to take a break.
That's right.
We will be back. Our Veterans Tribute brought to you at this time by our man John Basiliga. And on Mondays, we feature the first and the biggest of his companies, Eastern Roofing Systems, the premier roofing contractor on the eastern seaboard of this United States. Or should I say these? They take all of that expertise, all that buying power, and guess what? They provide it to you for your project in Northeast Pennsylvania, all the way down to your home, which needs a new roof. Eastern Roofing Systems. John Rasholi. We lost him far too young at age 66, April 24th. Born in Carbondale, proud veteran with the United States Army Reserve. He was a talented artist with a natural gift for drawing, often expressing himself through his artwork. He had a deep appreciation for motorcycles. John had the gift of gab and was rarely at a loss for words. In addition to his mother, Ruth Ann, he survived by his daughter, Angela of Peckville, his sister and her husband, his brother, 3 grandchildren, nieces, and nephews. John Rasholi. Robert Bob Kubasti. He was 90 when we lost him April 13th. He was from Sawyersville. He died at the home of his daughter, Connie, in Tuscarora, where he resided the last few years. His beloved wife of 55 years was the late Carol Zimmerman Kubasti, who he lost in 2017. Bob was born in Sawyersville, raised in Dallas Township, graduate of the former Dallas Township High School, class of 52. A United States Army veteran. He served this country during peacetime. Prior to retirement, Bob was employed for 30 years as a psychiatric nursing assistant for the Department of Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Wilkes-Barre. A man of faith, Bob was a past member of the former Holy Name St. Mary's Parish, Sawyersville, and following its closure became a member of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Parish in Sawyersville. Famous for his handlebar mustache, his known nickname to many was Mustache Bob, which was also his CB handle. He was famous for his horseradish and potato pancakes. He did so many things. Bob was preceded in death tragically by his infant daughter, Donna Marie. Left to cherish his memory are his 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren, as well as other family members, nieces, nephews, and all. Bob Kubasti. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Eastern Roofing Systems. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the gang at Montage Mountain. It's not just a ski resort. It's all year long fun. Today, mostly sunny and hot. Danger of dehydration and heart stroke. Just be cautious. High 95. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm, and humid. 65 degrees. Tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds, hot and humid. Possible danger of dehydration and heat stroke also. High 94, low 69. Wednesday, not as warm, but beautiful with times of clouds and sun. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Thunderstorms can bring localized damaging wind gusts. High 82 Wednesday, low 43. Thursday, cooler and less humid with intervals of clouds and sunshine, all the way down to 66 as a high, 41 as a low. Friday, intervals of clouds and sunshine, high 64. Low 51, so a very brief heat wave of a few days starting today. It's 83 degrees on Montage Mountain right now. Man, we didn't think we'd see this kind of temperature this early, but we love it. Well, you know what that means. That means Tina Morocco's in the house. She's Global Sales Advisor, Sotheby's International Realty in Naples. You can reach her at Sotheby's in Naples on their website or by phone. Or you can go right to the source, TinaMorocco.com, MURACCO, or on literally any social media, MURACCO.com. But here she is, our gal, Tina Morocco. How are you, Tina?
I'm fabulous, Bob. How are you?
Well, we got a scorcher up here. I'm guessing.
Yeah, you guys are hotter than we are.
I know. Isn't it crazy? Your weather's always better than ours, no matter what we do.
I don't know about that.
Well, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Well, what's on your mind today, Tina? What are we looking at?
Oh, well, we welcomed another couple from Northeast PA over the weekend to Southwest Florida, so I'm happy for them.
Nice.
Which is great. But today I want to talk about one of my favorite neighborhoods in Naples, and that's the Vineyards. And it's not just because of the name.
Uh-huh.
So the Vineyards.
Yeah, I thought I'd find. I stayed there a couple times. I thought I might find wine hanging on the trees, but it wasn't the case. I had to go buy it.
No grapevine.
I had to go buy a at the liquor store. Yeah.
But the Vineyards is cool because in the Vineyards, golf is optional. So it is a private country club membership there. But the Vineyards is a huge community. You probably know this, Bob. There's 40 different neighborhoods within the Vineyards, and they range from small condos that are, around $250,000 to large estate homes, several $1 million. But the Vineyards complex is, the community is about 2.5 miles wide, and it's surrounded by parks outside the Vineyards and also within the Vineyards gates. So it's really kind of a lushly landscaped community. It's older, so the landscaping is very mature. So started in the late 80s. They built up until like the mid 2000s. So there's some older communities in there and then some newer communities in there. As far as location goes, it's probably about 10 or 15 miles from downtown Naples, but very close to like North Naples, the Mercado area. It's in between Vanderbilt Beach Road and Pine Ridge Road, so you're not far off of 75, so easy access to the airport and, all points south and north. But with regards to the Vineyards Country Club, like I said, if you live in the Vineyards, golf is optional, so you can join the country club. They also have what they call a lifestyle membership, which is more like a sports membership. It's better than a social membership, so you still have the option to play like tennis and pickleball, the racket sports, and you can golf sometimes, but not all the times. But with that lifestyle membership, you have access to, they have a separate wellness center there. That's really a beautiful place. It's really a relaxing place. It's got a huge fitness center and a spa. They do facials, massages. They have a juice bar. They have snack bar, lap pool. So they do spin classes outside. So it's really kind of an active, vibrant community. And I will say,
is there always availability in terms of purchasing at all the kinds of properties that they have at the Vineyards?
Oh yeah. So like I said, there's properties from like $250,000 to several $1 million. And I looked this morning. The Vineyards is huge. I think there's 2,900 doors in the Vineyards, and I think as of this morning, there were 83 properties for sale.
Neat.
And that wide range of 2-bedroom condos to 6-bedroom houses. They have everything kind of available there, and just the location really can't be beat. If you want to be kind of in central Naples, close to a lot of different things, it's really a nice place. And if you like to walk around, there's so many different walking trails within the gates and also without the gates. And then it's also very close to Ave Maria Law School. So that's right that's right in the Vineyards, which is neat. There's an elementary school there. So, yeah, it's a great location, beautiful community.
And where did the people from Northeast Pennsylvania purchase? What kind of
So they purchased in River Hall Golf and Country Club.
Oh, neat.
So
Never
just
heard
north.
of that either. My gosh,
Yeah,
it's
we
amazing.
could talk about that one. Maybe we'll talk
Wow.
about that on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's it's a really nice community. I think they'll be really happy there. It's a great place, but we can talk more about that on Wednesday.
Fascinating.
Just north of Fort Myers. Yeah.
You just would never think all these choices. And now you bring up the vineyards, which I had been at, and you recognize that there are multiple choices just within that one development.
Oh yeah. And if you like wine, let me tell you, their golf their golf community, their country club has a private wine club. I mean, it is top notch. I mean, which is why obviously called the Vineyards. Wine Central.
Well, that's neat. Tina Morocco on the vineyards today. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All
yeah.
right, we'll talk to you
Well,
later in the
thanks,
week.
Bob.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
That's
All right,
our girl,
take care.
Tina Morocco. She's with Global Sales Advisor at Premier Sotheby's International, Naples. But you can reach her through Sotheby's or at Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com, or any social media. Tina Morocco, she is your trusted advisor for Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida. Murph tells us this date, 1964, the Animals recorded their great hit House of the Rising Sun in one take at Delane Lee Studios in London. Was with Murph Saturday night and the gang up at Ragnacci's. It was a blast. Of course, I did get, thank God. I just love Atera. And I got to go to Atera 519. And somebody texted in, Bob, I can't applaud you enough for what you do for our past veterans, you and John Basiliga. John Basiliga deserves a pat on the back. He brings it to you. That's the big thing. I came up with the idea, but John's the one who makes it happen. And the listener says, I have to admit, I go to the restaurants owned by John Basiliga for just that reason. So good. And they're great. They're absolutely great. I love them. All right, we got about a minute here. Let's go. Can we get Judy Zabel in here? Judy, we only have a minute, but fire away on this event.
I have, Eagle Forum is hosting an event at the church in Oliphant, the Rescue and Restore Church. Pastor Jack Munley is the pastor. And at 2 p.m., it's a Saturday afternoon, we're going to be talking about what we can do to clean up our libraries.
Nice. Very important, because a lot of stuff is sliding in there that we've been discovering, Judy. It's important that you're doing this. That's a good thing. So tell us again, it's June what?
June 6th.
Okay.
At 2 p.m.
That's a Saturday.
Yes.
Okay.
And, Bob, I have one more announcement before I go. Tonight is the library board's monthly meeting. And I have told everybody it was at 5:45. I was wrong. It's at 4:45.
Okay. At the library downtown? Where?
In the basement of the children's library.
Okay. Well, Judy, thank you. And you'll call in again about this forum on June 6th. Great. I appreciate it. Always, Judy, thank you so much. She's always doing great things. Well, my Bacardo Jewelers watch says we're running up to 10:50, which is Bloomberg Money Minute. The Byrds. Murph tells us this date, 1968, they recorded their hit Bus Stop, EMI Studios, London, England. Bob Cordaro back. Tom from Dallas says, I understand what John Perilla was saying, but what was Trump supposed to do? Let them obtain a nuclear weapon under his watch? That would be a failed mission. But no. I don't think anybody's disagreeing. I don't think John is disagreeing that it had to be done. The fact that it's an intractable situation for this brief period of time anyway tells me that he did the right thing, and I admire him even more for the guts of doing it. Donald Trump. It had to be done. This was Nazi Germany about to obtain a nuclear weapon. They had to be defanged. Now, I think the bombing has run its course because there'll be nothing left. No pieces left to pick up if we bomb them any further, but continue the embargo and do whatever we have to secure the Strait of Hormuz. That'll take care of energy prices. And it's got to be done anyway for the sake of the world economy. So I don't think anybody's disagreeing with you, Tom. It had to be done. This action had to be done. I credit Trump 1,000,000 times over for doing what Neville Chamberlain and other European leaders failed to do in the approach to World War II. And 50 million people and untold devastation and horror later? You don't know what it a few nuclear weapons used against Israel and Middle East Arabs. We can't even comprehend the chaos that would happen. Can't even comprehend it. So I mentioned I'm up for Mark Payne and Robin Medeiros. Now, the beauty of it is they're the only ones that asked me, so it's easy. So my man, Mark Payne, who's tried to save my city over and over again, the city of Scranton, here he is running for state committee, Republican state committee. Mark, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Rob, thanks for having me. You know, and I'm trying to save our city. That was the issue. It was our city.
Yes.
And Jesus, I have no idea what the hell they're doing now with it.
It's insane. So tell us about this. You got into this. You and Robin teamed up for state committee. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, there's people complaining, and I'm one of them. We don't like the way that the state committee is running and how it's trickling down to us on the local levels. And a lot of people don't agree with decisions they're making, rules are setting, endorsements and primaries, stuff like that. And we're looking to change all that and put it back in the hands of the people, because every decision that they make in Harrisburg on the state committee affects us locally.
Yes.
And we need to start, taking charge of what's happening locally here.
Well, I'm happy you're running for state committee, Mark Payne. I really am. I think it's important. I think that we need you there. We need Robin there. We need people that give Northeast Pennsylvania a voice, and particularly Lackawanna County, since it's such a ridiculously Democrat county.
It absolutely is. And I'm excited to be running with Robin. I met Robin, I think Trump's first go at it back before 2016. And I've worked on numerous campaigns with her. I mean, all of Trump's campaigns, Dr. Oz's campaign, we worked together.
By the way, do you have Rob Bresnahan signs?
I do.
All right. I need one. Okay.
Yep.
But,
Bresnahan signs, Stacey Garrity signs, we have all of them.
Well, you guys, is there any signs for Jason Ritchie? Because that's the election tomorrow.
That is the election. No, put all the money into.
Yeah, he said I don't have much. He said I don't have much money.
And Richie.
He said I don't have much money.
Not even that.
But
Yeah,
Richie
but
needs separate votes. So when you're voting for Robin Medeiros and Mark Payne for state committee, you got to vote. You got to vote for Jason Ritchie for lieutenant
unfortunately,
governor.
he's number 2 on the ballot for
Yep.
lieutenant governor. But that's what we're pushing. We're pushing for Jason Ritchie. Met with him. I had lunch with him last week. What an absolutely amazing individual!
Great
he is.
guy, just he's
Yeah, brilliant.
man's man. I just love the guy, and
Yep,
what a perfect partner for Stacey Garrity. Just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
They are perfect together.
Absolutely. He was on the Volpe show the other day and watched, and he did a fantastic interview with that.
He's sharp. He's sharp as hell. Yep.
Yep. I really like him.
Well,
Good
Mark
man.
Payne, look at I said this. Even if you didn't ask me, I'd be up for you and Robin for state committee. But thank you. Thank you
I
for
appreciate that.
continuing to be involved. You've always been there to do the right thing. You've always been there to do the work. And you and Robin at state committee would really help this area.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's what we're looking to do. We just need everybody to get out. I mean, I know it's a primary and a lot of Republicans don't come out, but we absolutely need every Republican in Lackawanna County, especially Scranton, to get out and vote. It's extremely important. And again, the committee people in your wards, if those are left blank, I need people to write the names in. If they want to get involved, if you don't like the way things are
write
turning
your
out,
own name in and do it.
Yep, men and women, husband and wife. Have your wife write you in, you write your wife in. Perfect.
Maybe.
And we'll get you on. We'll get something accomplished, and hopefully we could bring Scranton back to where it used to be, and make it better.
All right, Mark Payne. Thank you. Good luck on state committee tomorrow. I'll be voting for you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, man. We'll take a break because it's news time. My Bacardo Jewelers watch says it's 11:01 and change. By the way, Pat O'Brien from Harvey's Lake won the Journey tickets. Good for you, Pat. They are great. They are fun to watch. And that's all the way in November 6th. So you know what you're doing in November. How about that? Let's take our break. Bacardo's tells us it's 11:02 now. Let's do that. We'll come back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. You know it, baby. Great good morning, everyone. It's 11:10 a.m. on my Picardo Jewelers watch. This beautiful Monday, May 18, the day before Election Day, 2026 here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Eastern Roofing Systems. The brave who have made us and kept us free. People like our governor candidate, Stacey Garrity, 30 years in uniform for us, 3 tours in the Middle East, and so much more. She's our state treasurer, and she's going to be our next governor. And then veterans we've lost this year but celebrate today, thanks to John, like Bob Kubasti, Sawyersville, John Rasholi, Carbondale, Reverend Andrew Sinnott, Pastor Emeritus of Nativity of Our Lord Parish, Duryea, and Victor Lugoski. He was from 44th. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense after that brief news adjournment, promising you that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here. Somebody texted in, Joe Kent, Trump's very own director of the United States National Counterterrorism Center, has said that Iran was nowhere near obtaining a nuclear bomb. He's wrong. And there's a lot of reasons. He lost his wife. If you are aware of this detail, he's lost his wife to terrorism in Syria. And it changed him unalterably. And he's in with the Tucker Carlson gang, which is, I don't know who's paying them. I don't know who is initiating what they want, but they've gone insane. Candace Owens. And sadly, Joe Kent is in the same category. There is no serious commentator who would tell you that Iran was not on the very verge of building a nuclear weapon. Nobody's serious. I mean, you may be anti-Trump, you may be just playing this left-wing lunatic nonsense, but there are no serious observers who says that they were not on the very verge of obtaining an atomic weapon. And when they obtained it, they intended to use it to bring about their version of apocalypse. These are 2 undeniable facts. And by the way, I want to ask you a question. It's obviously theoretical. Were we going to wait until they had one? Please add, there's the question. We going to wait until they had one? Now, the equivalent's World War II. The Iranian leadership, the theocracy, was Nazi Germany on steroids. And if they obtained it, they stated they would use it to destabilize the world, not just the Middle East. I said it in the last hour. Just imagine if we had multiple nuclear weapons detonating. Remember, Russia has nuclear technology. Pakistan has nuclear technology. China has nuclear technology. North Korea. How soon before they did it themselves or bought it? And they stated outright that they had enough enriched uranium for 11 weapons. See, those are the facts. People can make up anything they want, sadly. I don't know how they look at themselves in the mirror, the Hakeem Jeffries of the world. But that's it. How could a country that is determined to obtain a nuclear weapon and has the materials to do it be nowhere near obtaining a nuclear weapon? That's actually stupid. That statement is idiotic and on top of being a lie. So sorry. He's intentionally, willfully wrong, which is why he had to be fired. He went crazy. He went daft. I thank him for service to this country, but that's what is. Hey, you've been very patient, Mike Perry. How are you, Mike?
Hey, Bob, how are you, sir?
Good, good.
Poor old Bob's son. I'm actually poor old Bob's son.
Oh. I was wondering what that was in the text. I thought I was poor old Bob because I'm poor and my name's Bob. So.
well, there you go. Well, you know my dad, right? That's his name. But,
sure.
But I'm running for the. My wife and I are on the ballot, running for the Newton Township committee man and committee woman, and our opponents are Robin, and David Medeiros. Which are also on the ballot for our state committee. We are an interesting Facebook conversation going on because I had one question for her before she blocked me on her page, is why she put Marty Flynn's picture on. Now, I understand that she's a Lackawanna County Realtors Association, but then to go post that, and they endorsed Marty Flynn. But why, as a Republican running, why would you put that on your own personal Facebook page? And she still hasn't answered me that. Now, Mark Payne's a great guy. I like Mark. And, of course, Richie and
we
Stacy. And
got to get up to vote for Richie.
Wonderful group.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
and
listen,
the other problem is our representative, our Republican representative running against Marty Flynn that's on the ballot, Sharon Shapiro, that Robin has not endorsed her, which supposedly, according to the Lackawanna County Republican Party Executive Committee, the bylaws state that you're supposed to support any and all Republicans running on the ballot. Now, I get it if there's two running against each other that you can vote, you can support one or the other. In the end, we all got to come together. We all got to back our Republican representatives.
I happen to
running.
think that primary fights, Mike Perry, are useful and good as long as everybody gets over it and unifies and continues to participate in the fall. That's all that matters.
And I'd hate to, don't call it fights. They're conversations, because all I'm trying to do is have a conversation to make the
I don't care if they're
voters
vigorous.
of Newton.
I don't care if they're fights.
Then, hey,
just
I can get down and dirty too, but
just get over
but
it.
yet I'd be very civil. You know what I mean? In the end, we're all supposed to be friends and get along together.
Amen.
Too,
Amen. Well, Mike, congratulations for getting involved, running for committee man in Newton Township. Thank you for being involved, and keep fighting, all right?
Yeah, today I'm at Elmhurst Country Club at the Unico of Scranton golf
that's right. Yeah.
Tournament. It's for a great cause.
Yeah.
And so just shout. So that's the campaigning I'm doing today. Is hopefully I can get a couple pars and maybe birdies and not as many bogeys.
You know what? You're going to get a hell of a sweat. That's for sure.
Oh, well, last week was the Geisinger Medical College charitable thing that my son ran. He's actually an orthopedic surgeon residency in his third year, and he put that all together.
Well, Mike,
that was freezing. That was freezing weather last week. So we got much. Now we go from winter to dead summer.
Crazy stuff. Well, Mike, my pleasure, and regards to Bob Perry. I love him.
All right, we love LTS. Let's say later. Bye.
Take care, brother. Hey, we got to take a break here. Bob Cordaro, WILK. Brother Mike reminding me of my cousin Moochie. Speaking of in a different context, he said, "The verge of the moment." We'll be back. Murph tells us this date, 1985. John Fogerty moved into the top 10 album charts at number 10 with Center Field. Great song, isn't it? And Plessy versus Ferguson, the U.S. Supreme Court, awful decision back in 1896. Renounced later, 58 years later, by the same Supreme Court, Brown versus Board of Education. And, it was never a straight, see, and this is what the race hucksters use. It was never a straight line to equality. And all the race hucksters, I'm looking at, they're now this new, the redistricting. The Supreme Court did something very profound. They said you cannot, and please tell me if there's anything wrong with this. You cannot create representative districts, because remember, this would carry through for state representatives as well, for the purpose of race, with the focus being race. You can't do it. It's the most natural thing in the world. The most obvious thing in the world. I don't know. This Democrat Party of today has gone insane. There's nothing they do or even talk about that even makes sense. Crazy stuff. Anyway, Lorene Cummings is on the phone. She's a candidate for state committee also. How are you, Lorene?
Good. How you doing, Bob? Thanks for taking the call.
As Johnny Carson would say, I did not know that.
You did not know I was a state committee
No,
candidate?
and you were on the phone last week. You didn't say anything about it.
I am an incumbent, so I've been on state committee for the past 20
strangely enough, I don't follow these things as closely as one would suspect. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm on the ballot. I'm second on the ballot, so I am asking for your vote and for everybody out there in Lackawanna County to vote for me. You could vote for 2 male, 2 female, and 1 of another gender. So it's kind of an interesting race because...
Geez, are we getting like the Democrats now with that nonsense?
Oh, no, the Democrats always did that, and so did the Republicans. You have to have a male and a female in every single committee in every ward in our county, which is, that's the rules. So
that doesn't do anything for me. That's
for one of those
disappointing.
female votes. That's all I'm telling you.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I love that you stay involved. You stay involved on issues. You stay involved as former commissioner, the first woman commissioner in Lackawanna County history. You stay involved at the county level, and that you're doing it on the state Republican level as well. I think that's great.
Yeah, and I mean, I built the first Christian coalition in our county. This is what I did. That's why I got involved in all this, to try and get, new leadership, because obviously we had to deal with Barack Obama for so long, dear God in heaven. So thankfully we got out of that, and Trump got elected, and we rebuilt our party as a Christian coalition and did really well. And, the district committee chairperson at the 114th level, and we had the largest group in our county with 8% of passing President Trump to get on the ballot, and he won. So that was great. But, yeah, we work hard. All the committee people do. And I applaud anybody that's signing up to be on committee. But know that it's not for, just sitting around and doing nothing. You have to get out there and work. You have to make sure that you're doing the principles that we stand for, and small government, and less intrusive government as well. So I look forward to seeing, because it seems like there's a revolution going on in the party, Bob. So we'll see how it turns out in the end.
Listen, we are the only party that has any common sense vitality.
Yes.
And
Yes.
these little
Let's hope we can
arguments,
keep it
these
that way, yes.
discussions, as long as we get together after the primaries, I'm all for them. Because the Republican Party is the party of independent thinkers.
Correct.
We think differently, and we're not ashamed of that fact. And so, yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
So I am enjoying the Christian Coalition part of it. Now, before I go, I have to say that we are having a meeting tonight. I talked to you last week about it at the library. There's going to be a meeting at 4:45, and Judy Zabel had talked about this at the commissioners meeting. Please make sure that you attend if you're a concerned parent about what your children are reading. You must attend this meeting. 4:45 at the Children's Library in Scranton.
Important stuff. Thank you, Lorene.
Thank you so much,
Good
Bob.
luck tomorrow. You have my vote.
Thank you so much.
All
Have
right,
a great
darling.
day.
Hey, we've got to take our break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. All of you, please be patient if you can on the phones. I'm going to go to the phones after the Veterans Tribute and the weather. So hang in there. 570-883-0098 to call or to text. 570-883-0098 to call or text. We'll be back with the Veterans Tribute. It's the Bob Cordaro Show, 11:30 on my Bacardo Jewelers watch. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day, as with every day, is brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. And on Mondays, we talk about his first company, his biggest company, Eastern Roofing Systems, one of the largest and the premier roofing contractor for industrial, commercial, institutional purposes in the eastern United States. And they bring all of that expertise, all of that buying power to your project right here in Northeast Pennsylvania because they're headquartered in Jessup. They'll even come to your house and do your roof at your home. Eastern Roofing Systems. Victor Lugoski. We lost Vic at age 92, April 13th. He was from 40 for it. His loving wife is Marion Pepsin Lugoski, with whom Vic would have celebrated their 70th wedding anniversary, June 9th. Born on February 24th, my birthday, 1934, in Wilkes-Barre. He was a graduate of the former St. Nicholas High School, Wilkes-Barre, class of 1952. A veteran of the United States Army and Army National Guard of Pennsylvania. Vic devoted 38 years in service of his country, enlisting with the Army National Guard in 1954. He was stationed with the 109th Field Artillery Regiment, Kingston. In 1956, just after the Korean War, he was called into active duty with the Army. After that, he continued his service with the Army National Guard until his honorable discharge in 1992. He retired as a Master Sergeant, recipient of countless decorations and medals. Vic was employed as a maintenance section chief for the Kingston Army of the 109th Field Artillery Regiment. Member of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Parish, Sawyerville, and a 50-year member of the American Legion in Sawyerville. Left to cherish his memory are his wife, Marion, their 3 sons and spouses of them, his grandchildren, his 3 great-grandchildren, and other family members. Victor Lugoski. Reverend Andrew Sinnott. We lost him April 27th. He was pastor emeritus, Nativity of Our Lord Parish, Duryea. Born in Wilkes-Barre, graduate of Hanover Township High School, he attended Wilkes University, earning a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting, May of 71. But before entering the seminary, Father Andy served in the U.S. Army. After returning home from the Army, he was employed by First Eastern Bank for 38 years, retiring from PNC Bank. This is great. After his retirement from banking, he was able to fulfill his lifelong dream of answering the Lord's call as an ordained Catholic priest. He received his seminary education, Pope John XXIII, Weston, Mass., and ordained to the priesthood in St. Peter's Cathedral in 1999. Assistant pastor at St. John the Evangelist, St. Mary Magdalene Churches, Honesdale, then became the chaplain at Mercy Hospital, Wilkes-Barre. Then he was pastor at St. Boniface in Wilkes-Barre, finishing up at Duryea, but man, so many appointments. Father Sinnott was also served the diocese as a member of the Priest Advisory Board, honorary life member of the Knights of Columbus, Assumpta Council, Kingston. Man, 4th degree Knights of Columbus, all of that. Preceded in death by his brothers, but survived by a brother, Kevin, sisters-in-law, nieces, nephews, great-nieces, great-nephews, and 2 great-great-nephews. A priest after all those years, Father Andrew Sinnott. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga, and his great Eastern Roofing Systems. Today, it is mostly sunny and hot, possible danger of dehydration, heat stroke, same for tomorrow. Today, a high of 95, and Montage Mountain, which brings you the weather, they tell us it's 86 up there right now, already. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm and humid, low 65. Tomorrow, Tuesday, sunshine mixing with the clouds, hot and humid, danger of dehydration and heat stroke, high 94, low 69. Wednesday, not as warm. Times of clouds and sun, couple of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Thunderstorms can bring localized damaging wind gusts. High 82, low 43. Thursday, completely different. Cooler and less humid with intervals of clouds and sunshine. High 66, low 41. Friday, intervals of clouds and sunshine. High 64, low 51. And that is your weather, brought to you by the amazing gang up at Montage Mountain Resorts. It's a year-round deal. It's a year-round. Check them out. You hear Kamala Harris. Could you imagine this disgraceful know nothing as our president? Never mind her ideas. Never mind her lies. She's a mental patient. Wow, that's the Democrat Party today. Exhausting. Well, this day, 1995, Weezer, Murph tells us, moved into the top 10 charts at number 9 with their hit, Buddy Holly. Yeah, that's Weezer. How about that? All right, let's go right to the blower. We got Donald from Pittston. Donald, thank you for your patience, my man.
Perfect. I got this, Jim. I just researched for it. Now, let me explain it to you in layman's terms, locally and what happens nationally. If I went to Old Forge and I put a circle around Old Forge and a circle around it, they'd vote Italian. If I went to the Greenwich section of Scranton, Irish, they'd vote. I circle that. If I went to DuPont, I circled that they'd vote Polish descent. Now, the south side of Chicago, same thing, black descent. What they did in Minnesota, they're the ones cheating. They flooded Minnesota in the 5th District with Somalians. So you got Omar, AOC, East Bronx and the Queens, 4th District Latinos. So they voted for AOC. So Claiborne, it's no 2.0 Jim Crow what they're doing.
Well,
He's there 33 years.
These are literally insane people and pathological
South
liars.
Carolina, right?
Yeah.
So they carved that out for him. So now it's going to be even. Let him go out like Rob Resdan, press the flesh, shake hands, shoe leather, and win. That's how it has to be. This is just back to normalcy. That's what's happening in Europe now. They brought all these people in here, the Muslims. They flooded that. Now 20% is Muslim. See what happened in New York. Now you got Mandani. How can you get a communist? Because they're flooding, they're concentrating these places with their voters. If you look at a map, it's all red. You see New York, L.A., and Philly where the blue is. So that this is all by design and delivered, the big cities where the migrants win. All we're doing is giving a level playing field so the people could do it the right way, how it's supposed to be originally done.
Well,
Not
you
like
can't
the
be
Jim Claiborne
racist.
way.
Are we finally at the point where you can't be racist? And you listen to all these Democrat and race hucksters, and you say,
Well,
wait
the play
a
right there
minute.
perfectly. It don't matter. You want to know
Look at Wesley Hunt. Wesley Hunt, he's in a white district.
He's all Italian. So that means you're rigging it. Same with the Greenwich section of Scranton. They all voted an Irishman in there. We know that.
Well, the Greenwich section votes
parts
stupid.
of Dunmore. If you did that in Dunmore, you put an Italian guy in there.
Yeah. The Greenwich
So they're
section
not going to
votes
do that
stupid.
no more. That's old school. That's done, Claiborne. You got to go out and earn your vote now,
Yes,
like
he
everybody
does.
else. That's all
Yes, he
Trump's
does.
doing.
You got to
And
be
the Supreme
good in
Court, I
office.
just been shaking for examples.
Yep.
That's how we got Amar. How do you think he got her? They flooded Minnesota, the 5th District with Somalians, so
Yep.
you vote Somalia.
Yep. You know it, man. Thank you. Amen. Somebody texts in, Bob, you said Republicans are the party of independent thinkers, but you missed the part where you can't think anything against anything that Trump does. Well, you're just stupid. You don't even listen to this show. You don't even listen to the show. And I want to ask you. John Fetterman is the only Democrat standing against lunacy. Name the policy of Donald Trump that's not common sense. And when you name that policy, I'll give you my thoughts on it. How about we do it the right way instead of the stupid bumper sticker way? Yeah, if you think differently, you can't be in the Democrat Party. You've either got to go along with insanity or get crushed. Just like John Fetterman. They're going to roll over him like a steamroller. You don't know what you're talking about, and you hear the show, but you don't listen. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. The disgrace, the stain of Joe Biden will always be with us in Northeast Pennsylvania. It is one of the main efforts of the Trump administration to undo the insanity of that boob. But the fools at the Greenridge Neighborhood Association thought it'd be nice to honor him again and put up a hometown hero band. They didn't check, though, to know that hometown hero banners are designed for veterans. And Biden ducked service repeatedly. And the banner is still there even after they found out that it shouldn't be there, that they are wrong. Biden banner disgrace, stolen valor, day 155. Let's go right to the blower. We got Charles from Scott Township. Charles, how are you? You're always brief, so I always know I can get you in here.
Thanks, Bob. Yeah, I just called about Sunday when they had that wonderful celebration,
yes.
whatever you want to call it, committing to God again. But how about the crybabying about it and whining about it? But they didn't mind when Biden had that Pride Day with that horrible flag in front of the White House between our two American flags. It was total disgrace, I think. But that was fantastic. Donald Trump going out and quoting Bible scripture, and me as a Bible believing, God fearing, Jesus loving Christian, I thought it was absolutely awesome.
I'm so happy they did that, and I say often, and there's not much time, but I think Trump, because of the support of the evangelicals, has become a Christian. I don't think he was very religious at all, and now he believes, and he believes in those people who espouse these great tenets, the foundation of this country, and we're not going to forget about it. Thank you, Charles.
You bet, Bob. Have a good day. God bless.
You know it, man. Thank you. He has. Well, my Cordaro Jewelers watch says 11:50. Bloom. Where does the time go? By the way, that history moment, Harvard professor, pointy-headed Archibald Cox, this date, 1973, appointed Watergate special prosecutor by U.S. Attorney General Elliot Richardson, who you heard. And this is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. This date, 1997, Murph says they were moving up the charts with their hit, You Got Lucky. And you Got Lucky, Babe, is not part of it, just You Got Lucky. And we're going to finish today with the Beatles because they released their final album in the U.S., Murph says, with Let It Be. The Bulldog's going to play Let It Be. Let's go right to the blower. We got Debbie from Scranton. Debbie, we got a minute or so. How are you?
Wow, I'm okay. I just said, well, this question probably deserves more than a minute or two, but I'll go for it if you want to.
Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to, because I don't know a lot about it. I think I know the basics. What is your opinion? How do you feel about I believe it's a federal holiday now, of Juneteenth? Like, what is your opinion of that holiday? Do you have one?
It does not bother me at all. It celebrates their freedom. Blacks, African Americans have had a unique experience in America in that they were slaves. Now, virtually every ethnic group that came into this country were not much more than slaves when they did so. So I get that. But as long as they're not trying to take away Columbus Day, as long as they're not trying to throw woke crap on me, hey, if we can afford
we all celebrate it?
Pardon?
Are we all allowed to celebrate, or just certain demographics?
Geez, I hope so.
I
know what you're driving at. Well, we played this Democrat left-wing Karen last week, talking about if you're 2 weeks ago, if you're a Donald Trump supporter, you can't celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Well, we can't let the asses govern what we do. The freedom of slaves and the declaration thereof is a big deal for this country and how this country advanced culturally. So I don't have a problem with it, but don't let idiots ruin anything for you. You interpret it the way you want to and celebrate it the way you want to.
I just get the distinct impression, because there's going to be such a party in my neighborhood, and I get the distinct impression it's like only for certain, people.
Well,
and
shame on them. If they're excluding anybody from a celebration, shame on them, and they're wrong. Period.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Bob. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Debbie. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's very important. And they say, well, there's already Martin Luther King Day. Well, things evolve, and not always in the right way, because how does Martin Luther King get a day as fabulous as he was, and Lincoln doesn't have a day, and Thomas Jefferson doesn't have a day, Ben Franklin doesn't have a day at all, never did, and George Washington. So you can only have so many, but I'm not against the Juneteenth celebration as long as it's done in the right spirit. When they try to say, well, this is for us and you're not allowed, I celebrate African Americans becoming free. Huge development. And you saw it wasn't a straight line. We celebrate Juneteenth for them and for that freedom. It made America better. So, no, I'm not against the holiday in any way, shape, or form. Hey, I'll always take a day off. But that's not for that reason, though. It was a significant time and event in our history that needs to be celebrated. Because we had slavery in this country for our first 100 years. and ridding the yoke of slavery, which was not just on blacks and African Americans, ridding the yoke of slavery, taking it off our shoulders, made this country better. Yep. All right. My Bacardo Jewelers watch says I gotta go. There's nothing I can do about it. Sue Henry's show next. Rob O'Donnell after that. But for now, God willing, I'll be with you tomorrow morning, but I've got to say adios and gavel to a close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. Adjourned.